How you doing? My name's Trey Schlichting, formerly of A Company Mounted Archery Training in South Texas, and now Mystic Pines Training Center here in New Mexico. I'm interviewing Annabelle Davis.
Hello.
Yeah, this is Annabelle, and we're doing a series of interviews with different athletes and horse archers. And anyway, so Annabelle, how old are you?
I'm 12.
Awesome. And how old were you when you got started in horseback archery?
I started last year, so I was 11.
11. Okay. Did you have a horse or archery background before you got started?
I did a little bit of riding here and there. I loved horses a lot as a little kid, and I did like Olympic style archery for 2 years before it.
Awesome. And do you own a horse?
I do not. Wish I did.
Okay. So where did you get access?
Like for
horses, where did you first get
I just started going to like barns in town. I had a bunch of friends that went to Rio Vista, which is the barn that I did some lessons and camps at.
And that's in Austin?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Austin, Texas. Okay.
Yeah.
And what about how did you get introduced to archery?
My dad's cousin, who was like in the CIA or something, sent me a bow on my 9th birthday.
Okay, what a great CIA gift.
Grooming me to become an assassin.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Wonderful.
So then my mom was, and then it like sat around for like a month, and I was like, oh, when are we gonna do archery? When are we gonna do archery? And my mom was like, okay, fine. I found a range, and then I like got into it and did it for like 2 years straight, and then I was like, wait, this is missing something. Oh, horses.
Ah, okay. And so, what kind of bow are you shooting right now, and then what kind of bow do you prefer?
Right now I go between my Korean bow and the Great Plains bow that you gave me,
Okay.
and I think I prefer shooting the Great Plains bow. I feel like it's more accurate.
Okay. Let's see. I got one more question prepared for you. Do you ride with a helmet? How do you feel about helmets?
Helmets are a good idea.
Okay.
Yes,
your
I ride
statement?
with a helmet, and
Alright.
I would probably not be allowed to ride if I didn't wear a helmet. So,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Well, we do helmets because of insurance purposes where I'm at, and then also for any international exposure.
yeah.
In the United States, it seems interesting that when I first started, I never rode horse archery with a helmet because I came from a Western cowboy style background. And as I started going overseas in any of the Commonwealth countries, it became a requirement. And then later on, as an instructor coach, I had to wear one if any of the photos were going to be used in any of those countries for advertisement or anything. And so, anyway, one of the things that I've done is I used to love the interviews on the Actors Studio. And so what I did is I came up with a set of questions, and I read over the ones that they had there, and I came up with 10 questions that I'm going to interview everybody with.
Cool.
And you're going to be the first. And so these are the same style questions, except for these were modified for horseback archery purposes. Okay, so my first question is, what's your favorite shooting style?
Like thumb or fingers?
Yeah, thumb or fingers, Persian, Hungarian. I mean, what kind of style do you prefer the most?
I mostly do thumb. Shooting with King's Release is really fun, though.
Okay, and so when the King's Release again is, also they call it the Slavic release, or the it's a 2-finger below, 1 finger with the arrow over the thumb. Basically, yeah. And so I like the King's Release because it allows you to have the same grip of the bow and it's go back and forth from thumb to fingers in case you hurt yourself, right?
Yeah, well, I like it because you can keep the arrow on the same side of the bow that you would use for thumb, so that way when you're doing back shots, it won't fall off as easily.
Okay.
But it lets you pull back heavier bows because there's more fingers.
Ah, okay. I hadn't thought about that. That's great. Okay, what is your favorite horse breed?
I don't really know. I kind of just like meet different horses with different personalities, and then like I like the horse, not the breed
So
necessarily.
you haven't noticed a breed that you prefer for horse archery?
No. I mean,
okay.
I like riding like Lug, who's a halflinger. So
I love those.
Giraffes are kind of fun to ride.
Okay.
Because they're not very bouncy. They're just kind of flat, and so there's not a lot of like adjusting up and down when you're on them.
Yeah, and then Lug is he's an Austrian halflinger, and he has a little bit medium to high leg action, and so I think that kind of makes him smooth. You know, he's kind of moving uphill a little.
Yeah.
And so I get where that helps. What inspires your creativity, spirituality, or emotionally? Where do you find your inspiration with that?
Nature.
Nature.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And so, do you like this setting?
Yes. Yes. It's a lot nicer than the city when there's all of the trees. It's so peaceful. Yeah.
So, and the next question is similar. How did you get started into horseback archery, and what inspired you? Where did you first see it?
So I always really liked horses. I always really liked archery, and so I did some Googling, fell down a couple of YouTube rabbit holes. I was like, whoa, this thing actually exists? That's kind of crazy. And I showed it to my mom. I was like, that's really cool. And she's like, nobody does that. You can't, there's no way you're going to be able to shoot arrows off of a horse. That's crazy. And so I was like, oh, okay, fine. And
so did you have to prove her wrong? I mean,
no. And then like a year later, she was doing like a couple of fun activities for like each kid. Like she would do a week where we didn't have camp, and she'd just do fun things with us.
Okay.
And so then she found your website and like booked a thing, and then like told me in the car. She's like, "Remember when you told me that horseback archery was a thing and I didn't believe you? It's a thing. There's a coach in Texas." And I was like, oh my gosh, really? And so then...
So it was a total surprise.
Yeah, I didn't know until like 30 minutes beforehand.
Oh, that's so much fun.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And so when your mother called me, I wasn't taking any new students. And I was just like, Leah, I'm getting ready to move. We're going to New Mexico. And I'm still training some athletes, but I'm not instructing much anymore.
Yeah.
And then she's just like telling me how cool you are, how awesome you are, how inspired you are by horses and archery. I'm like, okay, bring her out, and we'll get started. And
Fast
so
forward 1 year.
Exactly. And then when you came out, I was so inspired. I'm like, this girl, I don't want to teach this girl. I want to coach her. And so you just became one of the athletes we started working with. And so I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. And so let's see, where are we at? The next question is, what is your profession? But being 12, but you do have a profession.
Middle school?
No, I know you work.
I have an Etsy shop.
You have an Etsy. Tell us about your Etsy shop.
It's called The Rugged Paw. We make like bandanas and like balm for dogs' feet and like collar tags and just stuff like that. I started it over quarantine with one of my friends.
Wow, that's not fun. All right. Sorry about that. I'm not going to get that out of the internet. And so, let's fix that. So how old were you when you started your shop? I mean, how long have you been a working professional?
Like, just a couple of months. I started at like late May with one of my friends because our school like just got out for the end of the year, and we're like, oh my god, we have this entire summer and we're not going to be able to go anywhere. And so I called her up. I was like, I have an idea. And she's like, okay, what is it? I was like, let's start an Etsy shop for dogs. And she was like, oh, okay, sure.
So you actually did it. When I was a kid, I came up with lots of ideas, but I'm not sure that I ever took them to fruition. So it's nice.
I still do that.
Okay. All right. So the next one is, what is your favorite curse word? Now, I'll have to tell you, I got all these interview questions cleared by your mother first, so anything that you say is fine. So what's your favorite curse word?
I don't know.
You don't know? So what if you step on your, you don't yell yikes if you hit yourself with a hammer, or?
Like.
You just haven't had much chance to pick a favorite?
Well, I could if I wanted to, but I think it's more fun to just be like fudge muffins than to actually say
so you
something.
Make up your own.
Yeah.
Okay, well, fudge muffin will inspire lots of mothers at 12 years old. All right, and so let's see. What sound do you love?
I like just like horse noises, like if you just hear their feet. I like hearing horse hooves on like concrete or like a road, it's such a nice noise.
Kind of like the
where they're
Foley artist sound, click clop, click clop,
Yeah.
click clop. Okay, the clip clop of horses' feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always fun on a trail ride.
Mhm.
Yeah, so, all right, what sound do you hate?
I mean, fingernails on a chalkboard. I think everybody hates it, but
Yeah, I think that's pretty universal.
Yeah.
Okay. What are your goals for the future? And so, what do you want to finish by the end of this year? And where do you see yourself in 3 or 4 years?
by the end of this year, I want to get into a high school I want to go to. I want to improve and keep doing horse archery and just like, I don't know, in general, like be happy, don't catch coronavirus.
Okay. By the way, we've been quarantining together as a training, so we're not wearing the mask for the video. And so, and this is Dakota.
This is Dakota.
Yeah, Dakota likes to intervene and photobomb just about anything we do. All right, one last question. Horse archery can be broken into 4 different aspects. There's sport, martial art, horsemanship, and also Zen or meditation. And so you end up kind of doing, if you're going to do horse archery, you end up doing all 4 of those things to some extent. And when I do it, I find that what I want my drive to be in that mix-up is different from what it actually is when I'm motivated to do it.
Yeah.
So, what out of 100%, what percentage of it for you is sport?
So it's sport,
Martial art,
horsemanship, and Zen.
Yes.
I don't know, like 30% sport,
Okay.
30% horsemanship.
Okay. So
Like-
those 2 are equally important to you.
Yeah, and then like what are we at? We're at 60%.
Yeah, we're at
Like-
60. You got 40 left. How
40
you-
left. Like I think 25 is martial art and then like 15 is Zen, because I don't know, it's like archery is supposed to be like relaxing, but for me it's like more exciting than relaxing, and so I don't know, I think that I want to do the Zen part, and then I actually get on the horse, I'm like, oh, what are we doing next? Yeah.
And so you're too excited to meditate with it.
Yes.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate
Yeah.
you taking the time to talk with us. And we're going to do more of these interviews, hopefully once a week or whenever I get somebody come out here to train.
Yeah.